welcome to the Nen Show Podcast, where we are not dead, unlike all the characters in the manga, who are technically dead. I'm your host, Craftsdwarf, and this is Mathwiz.
Yeah, we're alive.
Yay, I hope so. Unless, what if reality is not real? What if we're all just points on a screen? I don't know. Tears in the rain. I don't fucking know. Alright, getting into comments. Austin Case asks, who's your favorite? Well, maybe we're getting into spoilers. But well, whatever. You already read the fucking chapters. Go read the chapters if you haven't. You're listening to this. Who's your favorite captain and who's your favorite vice captain of the Soul Reapers?
Well, I guess from the ones that I can remember, because there are a fuck ton of them.
There are. And I don't think we've quite been introduced. Like, I think we've seen we've seen all the captains. I think we've seen all the vice captains, the lieutenants, but I don't think they've all really been given screen time, you know? And there's a few I'm like who's the lieutenant to the blind guy? Or the, I don't... Yeah, so anyway, go on.
I guess... Well, I mean, of course, Gin Ichimaru, just because his fucking face is just great. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll say he's my favorite captain for now. Uh-huh. Why not? Just because he's the one I always remember. And vice assistant, I guess... I mean, I guess Renji, because he seems to be the one with, like, the most character at this point. Yeah.
Because I was going to say, for me, it's either Kampachi and Yachiru, or if I want to avoid them because Kampachi's too good, Aizen and Renji would probably be my next favorites, or maybe even first favorites. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to, like, with Yachiru, I literally only like her because she's fucking adorable. But, like, so it's like, is that really a reason to like her over Renji, who actually has, like, the most screen time so far of most of the captains and vice captains even.
Well, then again, I'm picking Ichimaru just because of his face, so, like, is that really any different from picking Yachiru because she's adorable?
She is adorable, though. Some people have been asking for other counters, like Orihime saying Kurosaki-kun, or arms getting lopped off, and it's like... I've already made enough of a mistake with the teleports behind you counter. Why do I want to make more mistakes? Yeah. Luckily, this stretch of chapters wasn't as bad as last one as far as the teleports behind you, because Yachiru and Byakuya didn't fucking encounter again. Because holy shit. But yeah. Did you have any comments, or?
There's a comment here from... Giga Gaming Gamer asking, can we get the Nen Show on a more frequent basis anytime soon? And I don't see that especially with like what we've been doing with Bleach, where we're reading like 70, 80, and it's only going to get higher as we go along. Yeah. But like some of these chapter counts can be pretty substantial, and setting aside the time.
I personally had yes, and then the editing is also a time sink. I did find this stretch of chapters, like, I felt like I read through it pretty quickly. I don't know about you.
Well, yeah, I did feel like there were a lot of chapters that had, like, just a lot of, like, action happening and not really much dialogue, so you could kind of breeze through it, or, like, full-page spreads or whatever, but even still.
And that only gets more prevalent as the series goes on, as I understand, so... But I don't know, like, doing it weekly, that's a bit much. Just even if only because of the editing, like, even if the reading we could do weekly, because I could read like the rest of Bleach in like a week, I'm pretty sure. But to discuss it, to have these 2-3 hour discussion. Well, so far it's just been 2-hour discussions for Bleach, and then edit it, which takes like a whole day. Like, for me at least, I'm pretty slow. But it's doing it weekly is a bit of a push, so...
If you want more Nen Show, we can give you more Nen Show, but we'll probably make less other videos, so...
Right, and you don't want that. Oh yeah, so, Raziel Evernight pointed out that Kubo's thesis to, or approach to his manga is the story is just it's just there to be in between the cool bits. Like, he just wants to draw cool shit and cool characters. And I totally respect that. It makes it harder to talk about his manga because, oh yeah, that was cool. Let's move on. But at the same time, like, compared to fucking, like, Fairy Tail, like, at least Bleach is more consistent. It feels like there's actually rules to the world that are by and large followed thus far. Like, it doesn't feel like a clusterfuck. It feels like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Sure. But for the most, yeah, and it's fine. It's fine if he just wants to draw cool shit. But talking about cool shit is kind of hard. I don't know, did you have any thoughts on that idea?
Wait, what was the original question again?
It was just, they were pointing out that Kubo just wants to draw cool shit, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Which I kind of was aware of, but yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, same. I can definitely... Yeah, because, like, especially here in this stretch of chapters, there's just a lot of battles, a lot of fights, but I don't know if they all really had, like, a big story significance or much to, like... I don't know, there were just, like... With how many fights were happening in this stretch of chapters, there were a couple of them that were just like... Do we really need to spend the extra time on this one in particular? Do we really? But I mean, they look cool at least. I guess.
Yeah, I think that was all for me. So it's hard to discuss for even the commenters. No, we're actually getting a lot of comments. It's just stuff to reply to is a little different. So, did you have any more or?
Well, there was another comment from Austin Case, saying that supposedly Bleach was originally going to have most of Ichigo's friends get superpowers, so like including the other characters that have appeared. And I'm kind of glad that they didn't, because like other than maybe Tatsuki, who I could see probably fitting in well because she's a fighting character. So.
Yeah.
But like,
it would have been cool to see.
Because, like, I'm thinking, you got, like, the two Playboy dudes, and you've got, Kon, like, what really could they add to these? I don't really think that they have a place here.
Well, because the thing is like, as much as I'd like to see Tatsuki, because she was, of the other, like, the characters who aren't in this arc, like, Tatsuki is the one that stands out the most, I think, just because she's, she has her connection with Orihime, and her personality is kind of cool, but, like, even this arc is, like, okay, why was everyone else here? Like, especially in the end, they weren't really doing much. Like, I guess we'll talk about that later. But it's like Ishida got a really big moment. Orihime helped out a little. Chad didn't do much of anything. He was just kind of there. Like, he's already done his stuff. Like, halfway through the arc, he's already done, basically. So it's like, why did it even come? Almost. I mean, like I said, we did get at least that character moment. But at the same time, it's like... And then just imagining everyone being here, like, what would they do? Like, what? It would just even be more of a
fights,
more shit for just it would just be more cool shit. I guess I guess so. Anyway, if we're done with comments, or did you have any more?
Nope, that about does it.
All right, let us get into the discussion. Okay, so yeah, when we last left off, Hyoichi was running away with Ichigo. Byakuya is bored. He's just like, I'm done. And then, the 13th captain guy gets Rukia put back in the cell and takes care of the prisoners, and just kind of wrapping up what we were talking about last time. And Orihime and Ishida have infiltrated the ranks. They are sneaky.
Yeah.
Sneaky nerds. But yeah, they're trying to help out Ichigo, and Ichigo is getting training from Yoruichi, because we finally learn about the difference between Shikai and Bankai, which I kind of knew about, but now I know even more about. But yeah, Bankai is like this thing that's really hard to master, and Ichigo masters it by the end. And I'm like, okay, Ichigo's strength growth, this arc, I think, who was commenting about it? I have the comments up, I can find them. Christian Mascoro was talking about how just like Ichigo he's just growing so fucking much this arc. Like, how many power-ups has he gotten? How many refinements to his power? Like, I mean, I guess he's technically not getting stronger, but there's so many individual moments. Like during the Kampachi fight, during learning the sphere thing with Kukaku, this with the Bankai, like. Just like compare like so many more times than like any other of the other characters combined. It's like pretty nuts when you think about it. So I guess, did you have any thoughts about that? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I just had some problems overall with like the timetable of events with this stretch. Because there's I won't get into the other stuff that we'll get into later, but like with Ichigo, I mean, I guess it was. I don't know. Nah.
Okay, maybe we'll talk about it later. Oh yeah, and we also learned that the only captain who doesn't know Bankai or even Shikai is fucking Kampachi. Like, he doesn't. He's so strong he doesn't even fucking need it. Or he also couldn't get the name of his sword, so... Oh man, fucking Kampachi. We get to see more of him later. But anyway, we get a sort of classic, really, where the, they get called out on their identities. They don't know all the details of the society they're infiltrating. But then the other guys are like, oh yeah, you 12 group guys, you guys are, those other guys are bullying you, we'll be cool. And then Ishida's like, wait, hold on, what the fuck's going on? And then we get this fucking exploding dudes, because Kurosuchi comes in and he is fucking nuts. Yeah, because he wants to capture the Ryoka, and he's using his own men as fucking bait, and like, Jesus Christ. So yeah, what did you think of Kurosuchi, who's not a robot? We got to see he's just wearing a suit, I guess, because he shows up later in his human, or we see him as a person recovering later. But I don't know, because it's like, I kind of thought it was like, okay, that he was abusing his Nemu, I think, the artificial person he made.
Yeah.
But then he's like, oh yeah, I also like am going to brag about how like all the Quincy's I've tortured, and oh yeah, this one guy, the last one I got, a random old guy, I just carry around his picture for some reason, and it's just like at the point I was like, okay, I don't really care, like it's just so over the top.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, I get it, he's evil science guy, but that's like it. That's like all there is to his character. Like, even, like, you watched Made in Abyss, like, even compared to Bonjour, just from what you've seen, like, he's got, like, a fucking charisma about him, a terrifying charisma. Like, he seems so nice, but he's not. But, like, Kurosuchi doesn't even have that. He's just like, I'm evil. I don't know. That's kind of the vibe I got from him.
Yeah,
so it was
pretty
just kind of
much.
like, okay, yeah, that's happening.
Wait, was that who that guy was that appeared near like the very end? And because like this guy was there, and he was like,
yes, he was. Yes, I'll point him out. Yeah, like one of the last chapters, he was coming out of like a vat of liquid and stuff, and he had like, I'm pretty sure that was Kurosuchi because he was with Nemu.
That was him.
So, yes, well, because yeah, during the fight, Ishida destroyed him, and he went off to recover, and he said that he'd be out of it for a little while, and that was the end of that little while, him coming back. So yeah,
okay.
So he's not a robot. He is a person with weird shit going on.
Because I saw that person pop up, and I was like, who is this guy?
I figured it's Kurosuchi. I don't think it was directly named, but I don't know who else it would be.
Yeah,
so,
it's probably him.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Orihime escaped, and fucking Kurosuchi is using both his... he actually uses his Bankai too, but Ishida, he has all his resolve. He takes off his gauntlet, and, to use fucking insane amounts of power. And, well, okay, this is what I'm kind of worried about, because, like, okay, because he took off his thing, and it's like, he's giving up his ability to fight in the future so that he can defeat Kurosuchi now, and it's like, okay, sure, it's pretty cool, but, like, is he just going to get his powers again later? And if not, then the act of him fighting actually created more danger, because I don't think Kurosuchi brought out his Bankai until... Yeah, Kurosuchi only endangered more people because Ishida endangered him. Like, I guess he saved his own life, otherwise he would have just been captured and killed. But, like, I don't know, it's just like, because I know he's just gonna get his powers back later, I assume, just knowing how stories go, or Bleach, it's like, I don't know, it's like, I couldn't get super invested, to, like, again, like looking at Kurosuchi's fucking Bankai, it's like, Jesus Christ, and... he's got his powers and stuff, but I'm also like, and Ishida just fucking destroying him was pretty cool. But it's like, yeah, I mean, sure. But then, he's just gonna get his powers back. Like, I'm assuming. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's fully what I expect to happen. But, like, you did say about, like, sacrificing his ability to fight in the future to fight in the now. And like, I'm having flashbacks to, well, spoilers for Hunter x Hunter, but I'm having... flashbacks to Gon in the Chimera Ant arc, but at least, like, with him, it seems as though something is going to come of that, like some sort of journey to...
It's kind of weird with Gon, because like immediately after that we jump to like the Kurapika, and now this whole other storyline that's going to be another 500 chapters, so it's going to be ages before we actually see Gon again.
But even then, like,
so
the severity of the moment, like, I don't know, like, it felt like the fact that he was, sacrificing his future essentially for this moment, it definitely had like the emotional weight behind it, because you had the entire.
He was willing to do that, even if it doesn't stick. He was at least willing to do it.
It was being built up for like the entire arc, like that fight with Pito. But whereas here, this is just kind of a throwaway fight.
Okay.
Ishida is like, I gotta go all out. I gotta sacrifice my future to protect Orihime, and I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like it deserves a more.
Well, because I was comparing it to like Choji and on the sound for like, if I eat this, I'll die.
That's but probably even there, a better it's like comparison.
There was the like at least the overall theme of that arc with these characters willing to die for the mission, or put their lives on the line for the mission.
One so at least that
folds into that. But this with this it's just resolved, just I guess, because he again he was, what I tried to say earlier, but we were talking about something else, is he was willing to do this, so sure, I guess, like at least it was a pretty cool moment, but I'm like, okay, it's fine.
But yeah, I know that like he'll have to get his powers back at some point through some magical finagling. So I'm just kind of like, I couldn't really buy into the like intensity of this moment, because I was like, okay, he's sacrificing his powers, but we're this early on into Bleach, there's no way he's not going to get his powers back.
Well, I guess this brings up something I talked about on Curious Cat recently. Someone was asking me about tension, and like how do you feel tension in a story where you just know the end result? Naruto's going to be Hokage. How can you think he's ever going to die? But like, and my answer was sort of like, well, the how. Like, how does Naruto become Hokage? What happens on the journey there? That's more interesting than the idea of him failing outright. So with Ishida, it's like, sure, I could be interested in like, how is he going to get his powers back? Like, I mean, maybe he'll become a Soul Reaper, but I just don't see that. Like, I don't see his fighting style changing so completely. Like, he's not as talented as Ichigo. He's not going to be able to bounce back from nothing, so, or maybe he is, I don't know. But it's also like, I don't know, it was given such a big moment that, if it gets, I don't know, maybe it'll be dealt with in a satisfying way. But as, just from what I've seen from Bleach so far, I'm a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Hesitant to accept that. Little bit, just a little bit.
I did think it was interesting. Previously, you had talked about, like, if you want to talk about, like, the hard work versus natural talent thing, like, Ichigo was the gifted one, and you thought that Ishida was more of, like, the hard working
like
type.
it.
But I know in this fight, Kurosuchi is like, oh, so you must be what they call a genius, because he masters that ability in, like, a week or whatever.
True.
So I guess I'm not really expecting any of these sort of, like, underdog characters in Bleach, because they all just seem to kind of have some sort of natural ability. Maybe
Ishida is... Well, maybe it's just that Ishida looks like a hard worker next to Ichigo, because Ichigo is just fucking insane. Like, his power... Like, he went from nothing to captain level in, like, a month, basically, when it takes 10 years just to learn Bankai properly for a normal Soul Reaper. So, I guess you could say Ishida went from normal to, beyond captain level with removing a gauntlet, but that's an exception. That's like I can only do this once kind of deal. So anyway, I suppose moving on. But yeah, he wrecked him. He, went to go find Rukia, and then he immediately runs into another captain. Rest in peace. So yeah, he gets captured while Ichigo's still training. He does a training sequence against Zangatsu, where he has to find the sword that works, and it takes him like a couple days for him to find the sword that works, and he eventually does.
And it sure was another training sequence.
Right? It's like, yep, yeah, like there's... Like, there's nothing to say. Like, it wasn't trying to be anything more than just really training. And, I guess you have the world building kind of where, like, oh, Bankai. But it's like, okay, it's like, I guess the takeaway is that, like, because he was looking for a sword because, his sword is the part of him that wants to fight, I suppose, I think it was. Or, so every captain has that. Every captain has a will to fight. And, yeah, we see that. Everyone fights. So, sure.
I don't know. Maybe the messages of, like, this training bit is, like, going over my head or something, because I'm just... Like, I don't know.
It's too deep for us.
It feels like there's nothing here that I can, like, extrapolate from it beyond... I mean, because, like... The way that, like, he powers up, like, he has to find the part of himself that wants to fight, but isn't, like, he just kind of guesses, like, he just keeps swinging swords and they keep breaking.
Right.
He's like, well, we just
like, at least with the earlier bit, he was using his, like, find the box that has your sword in it. Like, he did something clever. Like, he showed that he learned, he used something that he learned from Rukia to do it. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, he's actually, like, doing something that you can take away from there. But yeah, I guess he does just kind of randomly find the sword, and it works because he had to. So, unless I'm forgetting something.
I'm just thinking back to, like, Naruto learning the summons, Naruto learning Rasengan. I'm like, man, these might not have been great training arcs, but they were still better than this.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, with the summoning, I don't, like, he just kind of did it, I think. Like, oh yeah, there was the QB bit, but so, life-threatening situations. But at least with the Rasengan, at least it was driving home his Hokage thing, I guess. Like, again, we were kind of talking about, like, the mixed themes of that arc, because there was so many ideas, but they didn't really mix together very well, but at least there were ideas. Like, but then again, with Bleach, it's like, the thing I want to say is that maybe it just hasn't clicked for us yet, like, what it's about. Like, there was a video... Someone linked to me, and it was like the danger of losing your themes, which is talking about how the early arc of Bleach was about guilt and overcoming guilt. Like the Hollows are literally chained by their regrets to the world, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty. I didn't notice that really, but it's like, okay, then what's Soul Society about? Resolve and desire to protect friends, and it's like maybe there's something more here, and I just haven't seen it yet, or. Maybe it's just trying to be cool. So it's like nothing against Bleach. It's just, this is our first reading, and it's like with analysis, it takes time, and some people aren't going to have the, or like I don't come up with the deepest things to say about everything. That's why I only make videos on the things I find interesting. So and even with Naruto, I don't think it really clicked for me until like the Chunin exams. Where I was like, oh, like especially with Sasuke, where I'm like, oh, now I'm starting to understand his character. Bleach just hasn't clicked for me yet, maybe. Or maybe it never will. Maybe it'll just never be quite my thing, Yeah, because which is, it's fine. It doesn't have to be my thing. But it's just hard to discuss.
Well, I'm also thinking, like, in comparison, if we're kind of drawing parallels to this is around about the Chunin exam section of the Naruto story, that arc was about 140 chapters in, but we're already like 182 chapters into Bleach, and so like this arc was longer than the Chunin exam, or well, it was around the same, but the first arc.
That point, yeah,
we're further into it, so I feel like by this point things should, like, if things are gonna click, things should be clicking, and
No, that's fair. Though I will say, like, the end of this arc was pretty good. I don't know how you felt, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll get there.
So Orihime gets rescued by the 11th Division, and Kampachi doesn't give a fuck. He just wants to fight Ichigo again. That's literally all he cares. Like, he doesn't care about Soul Society. He doesn't care about anything. He's just like, hey, Orihime, if I stick with you, I'll probably fight Ichigo again, so let's go. Like, even if it means standing against Soul Society, like, he just wants to fight. Oh my god, he's fucking Kampachi. So anyway, a bunch of the prisoners escape. Because again, what did click this arc was the sort of conflict where you have, like I was kind of mentioning it before about how Ichigo is sort of this fresh perspective on the system, but like the issue here is that all the Soul Reapers that they all trust in the system so much that they're willing to do anything for it. Like Byakuya is kind of exemplifies that idea, because like he's even willing to like let his sister get executed because he just trusted in the system too much. But as we find out, the system is not the system anymore. The system has been discarded, and someone else is pretending to be the system and manipulating it. So you have all these Soul Reapers sort of blindly accepting that because, well, that's just what they've been used to for thousands of years. And then you have the ones that connect to Ichigo, who actually see him and I'm like, hey, this kid isn't doing anything wrong. He's just trying to help a person who many of them considered an ally, and who's being about to be executed for completely unjust reasons, so that's what clicked for me. But yeah, there's so that's, and so it makes sense that everything's like fucking falling apart, like, because if the whole Soul Society was against Ichigo, then he wouldn't stand a chance. But obviously, which I do like about the organization, it's more nuanced than like, oh, these are the bad guys, these are the guys who are standing in the way. It's even to the point like there's not like I don't think there's a squad, like there might be some squads that are all like all right. But even the characters in the like, Izuru, I think he was, Gin's lieutenant, the third captain lieutenant. Like, Gin turns out to be a shady motherfucker, but his lieutenant was like, what the fuck? So, yeah, there's no just like, oh, there's the characters, like, these guys are the villains. But even then, like, with the blind guy, like, he's like, with Justice, he thinks that, Aizen's side is oops, I spoiled it. Aizen's the bad guy. We talked about that last time too. But it's like, so yeah, that's fine. That's good. I like it. I'm jumping way ahead of there now thinking about it. So, oh yeah, we get a little, Yoriichi gives us a little backstory about Urahara. We knew he was a Soul Reaper, and we get more of his backstory later. But yeah, he was the founder of the, Department of Research and Development, and, Yoriichi knew him, so, yeah. And mostly Ichigo, it's Ichigo being told that, so he knows for later. But, oh yeah, and then we get a moment that's, well, I mean, I kind of figured, but, Hinamori, or Momo, I think, she tries to attack Hitsugaya, because she thinks Hitsugaya is, what was I gonna say?
She thinks Hitsugaya is the one who killed Aizen because of the note.
Right, because Aizen left a letter, and it was also talking about how the Sokyoku, the big halberd that turns into, or execution weapon that turns into a phoenix, as we see later, like the plan, what might have been to, which I kind of actually agreed, because I figured like, okay, Aizen is like, well, but then why would Aizen tell them their plans, I suppose, was the weird part. But I guess we don't quite learn everything. But yeah, he said that Hitsugaya was the one who intended to use the weapon to destroy Soul Society, and so it seems like, okay, whoever's manipulating this, they want the execution to happen, and so that it could release the spirit to destroy Soul Society for some reason. But Aizen's just honestly at this point he's just starting shit with his letter, just in hopes that someone found it and freaked the fuck out, and that's exactly what Momo's doing.
Although it is kind of interesting that because now that I have the context of like what this letter was, it was interesting how she even says like, I don't know what to think. Who did it? Why are people fighting each other? And she's like, well, I'm not lying. This is Aizen's handwriting. And it's like, okay, who could have forged that? At first, is like in the moment, that's what I'm thinking. Because it's like, was it Gin? Is he orchestrating this? But no, of course it was Aizen's handwriting because Aizen was the mastermind.
What a twist! Like, honestly, like, I guess to spoil my reaction is, like, finishing this arc, I was pretty like, oh fuck, like when all that fucking shit was happening at the end, so I could definitely see why people had that really impact them, like, going in completely blind, and Aizen's just, like, dead to, oh, secretly to alive to, holy fucking shit. So,
although it is...
Because it just, shit keeps happening, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? And the end of the arc is definitely a bit memorable in that. So I can see why it stands out.
But yeah, I do like that little hiding a clue in plain sight. It's cool.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, and they're fighting, and Ichimaru's just being a fucking smug dick. He's just like, oh, this is fun. He's just smiling, like, yeah, this is entertaining. Fucking dick. But yeah, they go at it a bit. They get interrupted. I don't know her name. Matsumoto.
Yeah, Matsumoto.
Maybe? Okay, yeah. But yeah, so that stops. And, oh yeah, this was kind of, okay, so yeah, that sort of peters out a bit. And then we go back to Yoriichi, and she's like, okay, well, the time thing, lucked out, went in our favor, so we have extra time. So Ichigo has a few more days to train. I might have to give him one. And then it's like, the execution's tomorrow. It's like, oh, never mind.
I was kind of curious when they were bringing up, like, the timetable. I was like, wait, why are they doing this? Why are they calling attention to this? And then it's like, execution's moving up. It's like, oh, okay.
Never mind. Well, yeah, because that's the thing is it does like I guess it was supposed to be this like extra hope, like maybe if Ichigo can't do it, we can give him another extra day. But then it's like never mind.
And also, I guess you
So
kind of gotta explain the timetable, because before you do the twist, so that way people understand like how everything's been happening.
Right. If it was just like, well, I mean, execution tomorrow would still like it wouldn't really matter too much unless Yoichi was thinking that we have extra time. So yeah.
It also gives me a bit of a better understanding of what's going on, because when people can get cut up all bloodied and battered, but the next day they're fine and they're back fighting again, gotta understand what the timetable is here. Are these yeah
it's a cartoon, Mathwiz, it's fine. As long as it stays consistent. But anyway, so now Hitsugaya and Matsumoto are planning to stop the execution because they know the quote-unquote truth of the danger of Soul Society being destroyed. But Renji goes down to help to train. I feel like training down here. I'm going to train. Just ignore me. I forget I guess because he got his Bankai too, right? Yeah, I think that's what happened. So he was also training down there. But then we get a bit of a flashback with Mr. Kaien, a Rukia flashback, sort of explaining that deal with Ganju's brother, I think. Yes, because they wrapped that up at the end of the arc. So yeah, we get introduced to him, and we get more Rukia. That's nice. Like Rukia, he ruffles her hair, and it's just all pretty, and she's got a good expression on her face. Rukia's good. But they bond a bit, and then there's a bit of backstory with the girl Kaien liked, I think, or was married to. Whatever, she died, and then then Kaien fights the Hollow, and he does the Ichigo thing. He wanted to fight it alone, and there's like the whole thing of like defending honor or defending life, and Rukia thinks life's more valuable, but the 13th captain lets the fight happen because pride is more, or honor is also valuable. And I don't know, I guess because Kaien fucking died, and that death fucked with like Rukia. She had her. Well, because I don't know. See, I'm wondering if I reread the moment of the Grand Fisher, because there was a bit of that there too, with Ichigo's honor and with the parallel there. But then at the same time, Ichigo is like, because I was mentioning back then, as I was wondering how that would get sort of brought up again later, if it would, and it kind of has. But I don't remember it well enough to take much from that. Because I don't know, how do you feel about Kaien and his honor?
I mean, having some like Dragon Ball flashbacks where it's like, well, because they're talking about like a fight for life versus a fight for pride, and that's very Dragon Ball. And I'm not a super big fan of it, but I won't judge it too much yet, because I'll wait to see where it goes. Because like here, he fights for his pride or whatever, and he gets possessed, so like there's a consequence to that, and I don't know if they're going to continue to.
Yeah, and Rukia after Rukia's only fighting for kind of neither, really. She was just afraid and fighting for herself when because she was the one who dealt the final blow on him. So I don't know. It's like, considering how much the death like fucked with her and fucked with his family, it feels like fighting for like, if I don't know, it feels like the takeaway should be life over honor, but because. What, he died for, he has his honor, but now he's fucking dead, like, so what?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how, so, but I'm not quite sure how that applies to Ichigo in retrospect.
Yeah, and I don't even know if that's, like, what they were going, I don't even know if that's what was trying to be conveyed here, because they still kind of seem to portray pride in a positive light, but I don't know, maybe it'll get questioned later.
Maybe it'll click for us eventually. I mean, it's kind of hard. That's the thing. It's like, because where you especially haven't been super invested in it, and me, it's like, oh yeah, I'm reading Bleach, cool. But it's like, yeah, and I just want. I mean, maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's the reader's fault for not finding out what it's trying to say that well. But that's fine. So I guess moving on a bit. Yachiru's a little shit. You know that? Like she was with. Fucking Orihime and Kampachi, or Orihime and Yachiru were both on her back, and Yachiru like fucking headbutts her. Like, she's jealous, I think. Oh my god. Um, I still like her. I mean, I feel a little bad for Orihime. She doesn't deserve this bullying, but Hanchi was really cute.
And then she's like, my boy Ikaku is like, hey, you don't know what you don't know directions, and then she's like spitting on him and attacking him.
That was good too. And I love the face Ikaku makes because he's like drawing his sword, and it, like with the spit just running off of his face, just fucking good. And then they bust into the cell, and Ganji's like shitting himself because it's fucking Kampachi. I'd shit myself too. Well, let's be honest. But Orihime is there, so it's okay. But yeah, Ichigo does a bit more training. More of the captains are moving out. Like we get introduced to Soifon, and we see the what's his face again? Sajin Komamura, who's wearing the big helmet. He's a big guy. But yeah, it's the day of the execution, so of course everyone's out and about. So Kampachi faces down the two. How do I forget names so quickly? There's too many characters to remember all their fucking names.
I'd be surprised if you did remember all of their names.
Right? Like, I commend whoever... that one guy who knows every character in Bleach. Like, at least by design, you can tell who they are, because, again, they are very distinct, Like, even the more minor characters, like, just, like, the third seat and the fourth seat, like, you could still fucking tell exactly who they are, But yeah, the 11th Division faces down, and Kampachi fucking single-handedly goes up against two captains. He doesn't fight both of them the entire time, but he still goes up against two captains.
Yeah, I love when he first shows up and he's like, 4 against 1. Not really enough to test my sword, but why not?
Yeah, but sure.
It's like, this will be a good wake-up.
Like, yes, and then he gets attacked on two fronts, and he's just like standing there, like, this isn't even a wake-up. Like, damn.
See, it's funny. I think because there were so many different characters when blind guy, what's his name?
I don't remember his name either.
At first, I thought he was an assistant captain when he first showed up, but then it's like, no, he's actually a captain. I was like, oh, okay.
Or Tosun. Kaname Tosun.
But I know last time I was saying that the fight between Ikaku and Ichigo so far is my favorite. I think I got a new favorite. The fight between Tosun and Kampachi was pretty solid.
Gotta agree. Though I guess before we quite get to that, we got Renji versus Byakuya, where we get introduced to both of their bankais, and also another unwritten rule of Bleach, is that whoever uses their bankai first loses. And so far that's been 100% true, because Renji uses his bankai, they fight for a bit, it's pretty cool actually, but then Byakuya uses his bankai and he wins. Then later, Byakuya uses his bankai, and I guess he uses his bankai second and wins. So yeah, that's fun.
See, that's the trick for Kampachi. Just never use your bankai, and you'll win.
Exactly. If he never uses it first or at all, he always wins, unless he's fighting Ichigo. But yeah, the Renji fight was fine. He was like, because he was a commoner, and now Byakuya's like, oh, your fangs will never reach me. But even after getting fucking wrecked by his bankai, he was still able to to draw some blood, and let his fangs hit Byakuya, which was cool. I also thought that maybe he's gonna die, because it seemed a bit like a death scene, but then like a chapter later they're like, oh no, he's still barely alive, and I'm like, okay, that's fine.
See, now this is the point where I'm just not invested at that point, because I see him get all sliced up, and I'm like, oh, but he's fine, because this is Bleach. I mean, he got all sliced up against Ichigo. Doesn't matter, like, the dramatic stakes of the scene or whatnot. He'll live because it's Bleach.
Right, like, it's like, but, like, it looks cool. Like, look, just the fucking, like, the detail on the blood, like, just the running lines of it.
Oh, yeah.
It looks really good. But again, it's like, damn, I actually hadn't thought about how, like, well drawn the blood is until, like, looking through it again. But yeah, that doesn't make, being unable to be interested in the stakes of it. It's like, even if you lose, but I guess like he did, even if he lost, he still he managed to dig his fangs into Byakuya, so at least something happened. But unfortunately, this is like the second time he's gotten fucking destroyed in like a couple days. No, I guess there was like Ichigo was training for a few days, so he had like a couple days of recovery, and then a day of training. Again, as Soul Reapers, he was being healed in prison, so sure.
Yeah. But yeah, this one did kind of feel like a death scene, because it's like, what else, I mean, Renji, he kind of basically gave over, or he, gave Ichigo the honors, like, you go save Rukia, because you beat me. And then he got to confront Byakuya, but he's too weak yet.
Yeah. He tried. But anyway, after that, I was wondering what you thought about this scene, where Gin, is he your favorite character, would you say? Or do you still like Rukia better?
See, the thing about Gin so far is that he's not really a character at this stage. He's just kind of like
he's an asshole.
Yeah, he's just like the sinister, evil, bad guy dude. But there's just something about that stupid face of his that's like so... it's just so striking.
Look at that smug fucking face with his eyes closed and a fucking smile, like... Well, because I was wondering what you thought about the scene of him basically bullying Rukia. Like...
Oh, yeah, that
I can free if you want. Oh, JK, LOL. Like...
Yeah, again, just to kind of show that he's sinister, evil, bad guy. Rukia was all resigned to death. She's like, I've come to terms with this. I'm fine. And then he just had to dangle that little bit of hope in front of her, like like the banana on the, or whatever the heck the makeshift thing is.
Carrot on a stick.
Yeah, carrot on a stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's hope. And so then she's like, wait, I don't want to die. But he's like, oh, yeah, I'm not actually going to help you.
Fucking Keen. He might be up there as far as characters go just because he's such an asshole. And it's hard not to
he reminds me
find that endearing on some level. Just look at that fucking smug-ass face.
He reminds me of, a more extreme... he's a more... I don't want to say, one-dimensional, but, I'm thinking of, Izaya Orihara from Durarara, where he just has these moments where he's, over-the-top sinister, and he's just... But, Izaya has more, of a goofiness to it. With Gin, he's just dead-face serious. But, I don't know, there's a charm in that.
Yeah, that's the thing, I'm laughing, but it's not because I don't think it's necessary, but, it's supposed to be funny, but because, just look at that face.
It's like with Madara when Hashirama shows up and he has that face.
Yes! Fight me! Yeah, that's a good comparison.
But yeah, Ichimaru is a good boy.
Yes. Alright, so anyway, now we get I guess it's one of your favorite fights at least, with the Kampachi versus Tosun, where Kampachi even eggs him on, use your if you were so worried about me, why not use your Bankai? He wants him to use it first because he knows that if he uses it first, he'll lose. So yeah, we get his sensory deprivation, bell closing ring. So yeah, you liked the fight. What did you think about it?
Well, yeah, because you want to talk about a handicap. Kampachi, he can't see, he can't hear, he can't smell. But he's still...
he can only feel, pretty much.
He can only feel, and I guess, they don't mention taste, but that doesn't play a factor in the fight, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But he's, he can't really do anything, and yet somehow he still manages to win this fight, and it's Jesus.
Right? I love how he does it too, because he's like, oh yeah, there you are. When he, lets the sword impale him, and he just grabs it, and it's like, oh, well, because when he grabs the sword, it wears off too. Yeah. So, he just...
and I like
fucking
how...
Kampachi.
And, Tosun, he's like, well, even, when you don't have your senses or whatever, there's a little bit of fear in everybody. But then Kampachi's just like, nope. He's like, oh, okay, because, yeah, he is a real monster. Kampachi just gets all excited because he's like, oh, this is an interesting challenge. But then, as the fight goes along, he's just like, I'm bored. Let's just end this. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, yes. And then, what's his face? I forgot his name again. Komamura, who's actually a fox person. Because, just, it looks cool. What people... die and become fox ghosts, or maybe he's actually a fox. Do animals die and have souls and reincarnate too? Oh yeah, someone explained that, because I was like, spirits die in Bleach, but apparently when you die as a soul, you get reincarnated. That's the side. But if a Quincy kills a soul, it doesn't get reincarnated. It's just destroyed.
Yes.
So now I'm like, okay, yeah, I must have missed that somehow. But yeah, it's just Komamura is just a fox, dog, wolf person. It's like, yeah, I mean, we've already had giants at this point, so I'm not even surprised. It's just like, okay, yeah, this is happening.
I thought it was more interesting than the big dome he had over his head. But I guess that was to keep the mystery. Or maybe Kubo wanted to make sure that he had everyone hook, line, and sinker before he revealed the furry character.
Oh yeah, but I guess before the Tosun fight ended, there was the bit with the what's his face, the handsome guy that fought Ganju earlier. Because well, it's funny because he talks about how like they aren't allowed to use Shikai or Bankai. Like Kampachi doesn't allow it. Because as I understand it, it's basically like since Kampachi doesn't need it, no one else on his squad needs it either. So, like, being under Kampachi, they're fucking handicapped. And so, yeah, he uses his, I don't know if it's just a Shikai. I presume it's what it looks like. But, he wins, and he goes back, and it's like, yep, I sure did win that fight without using my Shikai. Kampachi's like, what? And it's like, nothing. It's like, because fucking Kampachi. Oh my god.
Also, I like how he's like a fifth seat or whatever, whereas he's going up against like an assistant captain, and he's like, oh well, this is going to be a no contest because you know how everything else has been portrayed up to this point. But he's like, okay, now if I fight for real, he can just beat an assistant captain.
Yeah, and even says that he's technically the fourth seat. He just doesn't like the number 4. And it's like, okay, you know, sure. Because 4 is death, it also means death. So the number is considered unlucky in Eastern culture. Like I think you'll see that in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5. There's a character he has like his powers. He has sentient bullets and they're numbered, and he doesn't have a number 4 bullet. I don't think because it's unlucky, or maybe he doesn't. He doesn't like that 4 bullet or something.
But Craftsdwarf, why wasn't it in JoJo's Part 4 if it's unlucky?
Shut up, Mathwiz. No, moving on. Oh yeah, we also got the little Tosun flashback where the woman he liked got married and often killed, and and that gave him his desire for his justice. Which is interesting in retrospect now I think about it, because as we find that was the biggest fucking twist for me. Because okay, here's the thing: it's like we both knew about Aizen. We both knew, like, I knew he was this big mastermind deal. You know, I knew he died, quote unquote. And then he wasn't actually dead. But actually seeing it was very different from having heard about it. Because like, okay, I was like, okay, Gin works for him, that makes sense. You know, it's Gin, and he was being shady all this whole time, so he wasn't the mastermind, but he was bad. But then fucking Tosun, like, because Aizen was like, oh yeah, my power doesn't work on anyone who can't see it. And I'm like, and then they were like, oh, so that means, and I'm like, oh shit, Tosun was working with Aizen too. So it's like, yeah, he's all about justice, but at this point in the story, like, he's still working for Aizen. The 46 like heads of Soul Society are dead. Like, he's already, you know, his idea of justice is just what he thinks is right, I suppose, or I guess we'll probably learn more about him later, I'm expecting. But at the very least, justice definitely seems to be an idea of this arc in general, so
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he almost gets killed by, beaten by Kampachi, and Komamura comes in, and he goes right for the Bankai. Oh yeah, I love Kampachi's line about how it's like, if you die and come back in again as a ghost, we'll fight again. Like, he just wants to, since he can do that, sure, why not fight again? But then Division 13 goes to, they got this shield so they can seal up the sphere, or the execution weapon, because the execution is about to happen. But yeah, the weapon gets unsealed, the name of which I keep forgetting, and it turns into a fucking phoenix, which I thought it was neat, because, a Soul Reaper dying just means they're going to get reincarnated. So, of course, or, reborn, so to speak. So, it's interesting. I thought it was neat that they got that they're executed by a phoenix. So, I was like, hey, sure. That makes sense. But then, Ichigo, he comes in, he's looking all cool and badass and saving the fucking day, because it's motherfucking Ichigo, saving Rukia. He's just like, hey, sup? And then Rukia scolds him, of course, because it's Rukia. But yeah, they stop the bird, Ichigo frees Rukia, but then of course there's like a shitload of captains like right there. So including Byakuya. Oh yeah. Renji's back up pretty quick. Or wait, how long has it been since Renji got wrecked?
I have no idea.
I just realized. Yeah, because he's back, and I'm like, okay. Oh no, he got healed by the fucking Yamada. Never mind. I forgot about that. So I guess it's fine. Sure.
I mean, like, at least it's consistent with what Bleach has been doing, but I've consistently not been a big fan. So, like, because he fights Ichigo, gets pretty messed up, but then he's back, and he fights Byakuya, gets even more messed up. But he's back.
But he's back sooner, too, so it's like, sure. I mean, I guess he didn't get healed, but maybe Yamada is just a really good healer. Sure, I'll take it. But I love the moment where Ichigo throws Rukia at Renji.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And it's like she almost fucking died at the execution platform, and then she almost died because Ichigo just fucking punts her. Like, fucking poor Rukia. She doesn't deserve this bullying. She's too good a girl to bully. Oh yeah, and then fucking Ichigo like instantly takes out like fucking 3 seats or lieutenants. Like, goddamn. Without his fucking sword. But then he crosses blades with Byakuya. So I don't think that fight happens right away though. Right, because Soifon also gets into a fight with Yoruichi.
It sure was a fight these two characters had.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's next. Because there's the whole, like, Soifon was like the supposed to be eventually Yoruichi, or they were master and disciple, and then Yoruichi just fucking left out of the blue, and so Soifon was trying to surpass her on her own, but Yoruichi was actually too strong, and yeah, they fought. They had her powers. Clothes exploded, but yeah, I guess Soifon wanted Yoruichi's respect, and Yoruichi just left like without her, made her feel like she wasn't needed, like she wasn't respected. So that kind of like fucked her up a little bit. But yeah, they fought. I'm trying to remember if there was anything to say about it. Oh yeah, because you also have the fucking 13th and 8th squad captains fighting. I think it's Yamamoto, the fucking the old guy, who's just takes off his fucking shirt and it's like, let's fucking go, like flaming fucking sword. Goddamn, all the fucking scars on his body, like. Like he's like the leader, so I presume he's one of the strongest characters. So, but I guess we didn't really see much of that, did we? I don't remember. Because it's jumping around a bit and it's killing me because I'm trying to talk. So yeah, I'm skimming through the Yoruichi Soifon fight. Don't know if there's anything else I had to say about it. I think I summed it up. Did you have anything to say about it aside from it sure was a fight?
I mean, I guess it's assuming that Kubo is like planning for the long term with these characters, planning to get, use them in future arcs, give them moments to shine. I guess it's a bit of a tiresome read to get through all of it like at once in the way he's structuring it. But I mean, if it's setting like a foundation for the future that he'll build upon, then I guess it's fine. You got to get it.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically Soifon's introduction.
Yeah.
We kind of already knew about Yoruichi, but we're learning a little bit more about her. But Soifon, she just, she was a captain, and now she's fighting.
Although, so, I guess it feels weird in, like, pacing, because we're getting, like, towards the climax of this arc, and we're getting, like, character introductions now, which, in the context of the arc, is a bit weird, but I guess in the bigger picture is alright.
Oh yeah, also like the Ikkaku fighting the other guy, like taking breaks and doing rock paper scissors and arguing about sake. Like they're pretty bro considering they're fighting against each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's quite a bit going on, and I guess we don't really see I don't think we see any more of the Yamamoto fight, the old guy fighting, and I don't think Ikkaku quite get that resolution. Like, it's just kind of like these things are happening. So yeah, Soifon and Yoruichi definitely got a bit more focus, I think, before it goes back to Ichigo versus Byakuya, which is probably, it's obviously the climax of the arc. So what did you think about that? Or this fight?
I'm trying to remember what happened in it.
There were swords, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, there were swords. Byakuya uses his Bankai, but he uses it first, and that's his big mistake.
Yeah, you're right. Yes. Because Ichigo uses... Well, because I think I've had this pointed out to me, but Ichigo, Ichigo's whole arc or whole thing has been like trying to master his strength, and it's like, oh yeah, a good strong Soul Reaper could have a sword the size of a fucking skyscraper, but Ichigo, so, which is why Ichigo's sword was so big. But now his Bankaya is a smaller sword, so he's actually like he's learned to focus his power basically. So he's actually gotten the control he was able to use that big attack that he used against Urahara, except now he can do it at will. And so, he again, I don't think he's quite gotten stronger. I think he's always been, like, insanely fucking strong. But now he's actually gotten it honed to a point where he can actually use that strength and fight a fucking captain, basically. Like, that's another thing that satisfied me. It's like, he didn't just outright win against Byakuya. He didn't just, like, defeat this incredibly, like, because Byakuya's been really fucking strong. Like, he destroyed Renji, easily. Like, and not just Renji, the Renji that Ichigo was fighting, like, a few chapters ago. The Ichigo Renji with a Bankai. But Byakuya basically destroyed him while taking like a scratch, pretty much. But he didn't outright lose to Ichigo. Like he took more damage, definitely, but he lost the ideological conflict and gave up before he lost, just that outright fight, basically.
Yeah.
So I thought that was fine. Because like I think I was mentioning earlier, because like the whole thing is that, he trusted the system, the justice of Soul Society so much that he didn't question as they were going to fucking kill his sister. And but Ichigo, like basically, but the question is, personal justice versus systemic justice. Ichigo decides that his personal justice is more. If there's a clash, then it's a societal justice that should be questioned, I suppose. And Byakuya didn't question it, and that was where he was wrong, and especially because the societal justice was corrupted by Aizen. Yeah, it was fine. It was cool. Honestly, this might be one of my favorite fights. Just no, I don't think it's quite my favorite, but it might be my favorite this stretch of chapters, just because I like how it ended. Like it didn't. It was it didn't end with a guy hitting the other guy with a sword and them falling down. It was more than that. It was more than just a bit more than guys hitting each other with swords. Sometimes they were throwing swords at each other.
I would probably agree with you if the fight left much of an impression on me, which if I can't remember it, it obviously didn't.
So you probably, I admittedly forgot about Hollow Ichigo, which was also the evil Ichigo that we saw earlier.
Yeah.
Like that happened, and he rejected his, he was turning into a Hollow, and he was like, nah, let's start over.
Oh, that's because that's the point where he was slowing down, and it's like, oh, Byakuya's gonna win, but then he's like, oh, power boost. And reset. Yeah, because he's at least rejecting the hollow power, which is weird. Well, we kind of we kind of get a little bit more about that later with where Aizen's talking about Urahara and how Urahara was researching into mixing hollow and Soul Reaper power, and Ichigo seems to be that somehow. Yeah. And that also kind of elaborates a little more on what was the deal with the mask from earlier. Yes. Well, yeah, because it's like, because he definitely has. Did you hear that? Yeah. Yeah, that's why I stopped talking. You can cut it out. My window's closed. It's just fucking loud. Just remember to cut this part out. Okay, I think it stopped. Holy shit. That was like a minute or two. But yeah, he got his hollow power. He rejected it. That's definitely gonna come back later, I think. Especially because I already know about the Arrancars who are hollows. So yeah, it just happened. But yeah, I can't think of anything else to say about the Byakuya fight other than I thought it was good. It sure was a fight. Yes. Man, this is gonna be a short episode. So anyway, moving on. Hitsugaya and Matsumoto enter the Council of 46 and find everyone that's fucking dead. And they've been dead for days. But how could this have happened? Uh-oh, it's Gin. He's there with Momo. And then, uh-oh. Well, yeah, Gin fights, Izuru fights Matsumoto for a bit. But then, Aizen is back. Yay. He's alive. How good. Momo gets to hug him. Oh no. Yeah, I was gonna say with like the way he was phrasing his words, I was like, oh, it's gonna happen. She's gonna die.
Yeah, it's like, well, especially because we know it's fucking Aizen, and he's just, yeah, and again follows him just fucking without hesitation, and it's just, this fucker. Look at him, like, he's being a fucking asshole. Yeah, just like without hesitation, like, nope, all my previous bonds with especially Momo mean nothing to me. I don't give a shit. He just doesn't care. He's got his goal, and that's all that matters to him. And he's just fucking like instantly like it's a guy who goes full. I think Bankai, and Aizen just fucking destroys him. Yeah, he's a guy who goes Bankai with his big. He gets like a big 2-page spread with his big ice wings and all this shit going. And then Aizen's just like, nah, wrecked, get wrecked, son, get fucking wrecked.
You wanna talk about the teleports behind you counter? Aizen, he had a couple.
Oh shit. Oh shit. I haven't been counting. Man. Shit, how many have I missed? I think I counted up to 10. But it doesn't feel right if I don't point them out. Oh, fuck, I ruined it. I ruined the teleport behind you counter.
Does the Aizen one count? Because, like, he also slashed
what chapter? Well, because it's like he didn't quite teleport behind him in, let me find it. Yeah, I didn't count it because like when I think of teleport behind you, I think of, the victim character is facing one way towards the attacker character, and then the attacker character is behind the victim character while they're still facing the other way. But like with Aizen, he's like several steps behind him, so it's less like teleports behind you and it's more like teleports through you.
Oh, okay.
I guess. So, yeah, when we end, I'll go back, so you don't have to worry about the dings too much. It'll all be at the end. Yeah, so, because I have the teleports listed. I just need to double check them. I've missed them. I missed the teleports. But yet, Aizen reveals his ability, and the thing is that it's really fucking powerful because it's like, see, this is kind of what I feel like the issue with the because it's basically like the Sharingan, where if you see it, you're fucked. But it's actually like, as it's portrayed as broken as it should be. Like the Sharingan, it's like Sharingan's still broken, but it's like, oh, a guy knows techniques to avoid it, and like, because the thing is that like you can't avoid it by sight, except unless you're literally blind. So, Aizen's just like fucking insanely strong because he's he's got a really powerful ability. So, he's like, he basically just like talks about his plans a lot, but it's like, who can stop him? I'm not sure how you stop this fucking ability.
Yeah, because I mean, he just one-shots Hitsugaya, who previously had looked like pretty strong character.
Yeah, like he one-shots a captain. Like, let's put it that way. Well, because as I understand it, it's like the thing with his ability is that even if you know it's an illusion, you can't just stop detecting it. Like it's not like with Naruto where you could make yourself feel pain and break the illusion. It's just you can't. It just works. Like it's a perfect illusion, damn near, basically. So, because I've heard people talking about it, and it's just like I don't understand how to stop that ability because I haven't read the whole series. So he seems really powerful, which is good because he's basically like one of the major antagonists. So he needs to be strong, but at the same time, like, yeah, and that's interesting. Like how do they got, like, is there an interesting way to get around this ability? Like Kampachi was doing with a Tosun, it's like, how do you deal with, can't see, can't hear, can't smell? How do you deal with someone like, Kampachi finds a good way to do it because it's fucking Kampachi, So what about Aizen? What's going to happen with Aizen? I don't know. But anyway, with his betrayal known, they get the word out. And there's Kurasuchi again. Yeah, he's got like a thing over his ear, like a hole in it, or he's replaced his ear. Also, I like how he's not really handsome. He's actually kind of ugly. But it's like, he's ugly in like a more subtle way. Like his teeth are kind of weird, and something about his face, I don't know. Maybe ugly is the wrong word, but it's by anime standards, he's not pretty, is what I was trying to say. And I like that about human face Kurasuchi. He doesn't give a fuck at all. Like, he hears about Aizen, he's just like, I don't care. Aizen isn't science. I want science. Fucking Kurasuchi. Then he starts fucking explaining his plan and how Ichigo actually helped him by stirring up so much shit, which is so I think it's sort of setting up because there's the whole thing about guilt and regret, and now it's kind of Ichigo's fault that Aizen was able to enact his plan. So I feel like it's setting up for later conflicts. Now it's even though he doesn't actually kill Rukia, but at the same time, it was his fault that so much shit happened at Soul Society. So I don't know if that's quite going to get expanded on later, but it's a potential. Oh yeah, and he just fucking wrecks Ichigo and Renji like instantly, like fucking Aizen. But yeah, when he was explaining his plan, I was like, and mentioning Urahara and how Urahara's plan. That's where it also like because he was being so shady earlier, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's a villain. And I think someone said that he was intended to be an antagonist at some point, but that didn't pan out because he found out how Soul Reapers and Hollows could unify their powers, and he hid the magic rock that does that in Rukia, and then sort of set things up so that Rukia would be hidden in the human world. Like even gave her remember the science guys were freaking out about the Gigai that he made for her.
Yeah.
So there's definitely foreshadowing towards it. It slots all the details slot in pretty well, I'd say. So good foreshadowing. Oh yeah, Aizen took down the fucking wolf dog fox guy too. It's like he's just fucking wrecking these captains like it's fucking nothing. Oh my dear lord.
Yeah, and I guess that's part of why this moment feels so impactful, because it's like even Ichigo gets taken down fairly easily, and it's not like one of those Ichigo gets like with Byakuya before, where I think like Ichigo had gotten hit, but he was still like still like moving around, still like he wasn't totally out of it. Whereas like when Aizen struck him down, Aizen's like, no, you cannot move. It is like physically impossible based on like how I slashed you or whatever.
Yeah. Well, because it's like he wrecks so many characters. He drops all this information that pretty neatly slots. Like I don't think there's any contradictions, or at least none I noticed. So it's it explains a lot of things that have happened up to this point. Like not just with him, with Urahara too. So it like this is again, and even Rukia, it goes back to like the earliest chapters. And then then he just gets he gets away with everything.
Mm-hmm.
But in a way, it is kind of like if Yamamoto was here, I hope I'm getting his name right. The old guy, and it's like he's really strong, so maybe he would have had a better chance against Aizen, but he's not here because he's fighting the other guys, or he was, and then they got they're probably on their way, but it's too late. Aizen's like, it's all Ichigo's fault, basically, is what I'm trying to say, because they wouldn't have been fighting if it weren't for Ichigo. So, and because that's the other thing about his plan, because he mentions that there's two ways to get the whole Gyoku. I'm trying to pronounce that shit. Okay, the translation, like, at least the dialogue is generally okay. I just don't like how they use all these fucking Japanese, like, I get it. They die and go to Japan. It's basically, I can see why they're using all the Japanese terms. Like Zanpakuto, like, it's a sword, it's a special type of sword, that's fair. But I'm like, Hogyokyu, does that really, like, and then they keep mentioning the names, and, like, there's one line where it's like, they mention two Japanese names, and I'm like, which ones are these again? Or the Hogyoku in the Compacto, or and I'm just like, what the fuck's going on? What are you trying to say? I don't understand. Which I had the same issue with Naruto, but Naruto is even more inconsistent and wild and fucking like, what the fuck? And mid-2000s and translations are just, And
I will give, I was about to say Kishimoto. I will give Kubo credit though, because maybe I'm misremembering this, but like with the two main antagonists turning out to be Gin and Aizen, it is interesting how at least like when the main characters first got to the heck is it called, the spirit world, well, I don't remember what it's called.
Soul Society,
yeah. The name of the arc.
The name of the arc, you fucking dork.
But yeah, when they first get to the Soul Society, like, Gin is the first one they run into, and he's the one who stops them at the gate.
Yes, and they tied that back to this.
And then I think
that's why the twist works, is because you have,
because I think Aizen was
you were saying.
Because, like, not counting Byakuya, because Byakuya was the first captain to be shown, obviously, but, like, after him, I think it was Gin, and then I think Aizen was next, or he was one of the first ones.
Well, because they showed a bunch of them at the same time, too, and I'm trying to remember when that was, relative to, like, Aizen and Gin. But yeah, well, because, like, and that's what I noticed about the twist, is, like, because, like, Gin's kind of, he's the red herring, but he's also actually, like, he was actually up to shady shit. Like, he was the bad guy. So it's like, if you predicted that Gin was actually up to something, like, you're not wrong, but it was interesting because like, because Aizen is like he's the big twist because he was supposed to be dead, but no, he was actually the mastermind. And then like fucking Tosun was like the out of left field, like also out of left field, but it's like once you hear Aizen's abilities and it's like, oh yeah, of course, the blind one would be on the side of the illusionist. He would have to be in order for Aizen's plan to actually work. So like it's a pretty well executed twist, I think. It slots a lot of information into place. It was built up to pretty well, and all this fucking information coming out of nowhere. Like reading it, I was like fucking like oh shit, because just everything that Aizen was fucking doing. Oh yeah, and I think I actually gasped out when Byakuya rescued Rukia. Because like he'd been the antagonist up to this point, and then he's suddenly boom, he saves Rukia. Like of course he would. Like his what he thought was justice, had been corrupted by Aizen, so of course he'd changed sides, and it was surprising and it was good.
And now he can start on the path to being an actual character and not just the stoic, powerful dude.
Yeah.
Good for you, Byakuya. I'm proud of you.
But yeah, everyone comes in to stop Aizen, and then Aizen gets rescued by giant fucking hollows. Like more just fucking massive events just happening, like all these fucking hollows, like Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, it's certainly one hell of a cliffhanger.
Right? Like, he just fucking wrecks everyone, drops all these fucking information bobs, takes the magic MacGuffin, and it gets rescued by hollows, and no one has ever stood atop the heavens before. But from now on, he drops his glasses and goes to that fort, so that the look that I'm used to, based on just seeing pictures of him around.
Yeah.
And he's like, I will stand at the top, and then he's gone. It's just like, I can see why people really like this arc, just if only for the ending, really, because it feels really impactful, everything falls into place. Aizen's this big bad fucking scary dude, and it's like, god damn, like it doesn't, like the main character's won, but then it doesn't end on a victory. So yeah, I can see why people dig it. So yeah, he leaves. Did you have any final thoughts on Aizen's betrayal?
Yeah, it was cool. I think I liked this second half of the arc better. There were certain things I liked about the first arc. This one was just a lot of fights, but I guess the thing with this arc is that there's just a lot of details that, I mean, you didn't really a lot of the twists and turns that were happening, I think were partially effective because we don't really know the full details of how the Soul Society works.
Right, so, like we were talking about the first half, and it was like stuff was being built up to, but we hadn't gotten the payoff yet, and then we get the payoff now, finally.
And we didn't really know the characters involved, so it's like, well, anybody could be the traitor because we don't really have the kind of evidence to the contrary. But I do think it was...
I mean, we knew who... Well, because it's like... And that's the thing with Tosun, it's like, really the only evidence towards him being the traitor was, Aizen's ability. Like, Aizen's ability made sense, but you didn't know the details of it until he explained it, and then once he explains it, it's like, oh, yeah, okay. And it was still fine, I don't think the twist was weaker for it, just because it makes sense, especially even with his ideals. Like, he decided, his idea of justice is his idea of justice was always personal. I guess I didn't think about that. Like going back to the personal justice versus societal justice, Tosun felt like he was societal justice at first because he was going up against people like Kampachi because Rukia execution needs to happen. That's what it seemed like. But no, it was actually his personal justice. He's just going along with Aizen's scheme because he thinks that Aizen's plan will be better in the end. For we don't really know what Aizen's exactly planning to do and why Tosun, that's why I feel like Tosun's gonna get more later, because we have a better picture of his ideals. Like Gin, he just wants to watch the world burn. I could see that being the case. Just look at him. This is the face of a man who wants to watch the world burn. Aizen, we only got we got a lot of information on him with the twist, but we still don't quite know exactly what he's trying to do or why. But Tosun, we actually have a bit of an idea for. So.
But yeah, I do think a big, maybe why I enjoyed the second half better was just because, for a character like Kampachi, you kind of sold me on him last time, so going through, I had kind of a new perspective on him, and, some of the other characters we're starting to get to know better, and just also that there's a lot of these details floating around that, don't really, there's a lot that could pique your interest and keep you invested, so I think just out of like
Yeah.
sheer events
it's kind of what I
happening, this was I don't know, more to be interested in, I guess.
Yeah, and that's also kind of what I was worried about as far as like, because the whole reason we're doing Bleach is because we're basically reading it for the first time and trying to see how much we have to say. And like we're almost done, like we're an hour and a half into the recording almost, and you know, like this is like one of the shortest Nen Show episodes ever, even though it was the second half to one of the biggest. And you know, and maybe if we were like rereading the series, if we had a bit more perspective, like we did with Naruto, we would be able to say more. But so I'm what I'm trying to say is maybe this is what you should expect more of out of the Nen Show in the future when we're going, because most of the series on our list we haven't actually read, and so we're not going to know the full picture. We're not going to be able to, you know, we might have difficulty discussing it. Like though with Bleach it's also like you know, it's, you know, it's more about the cool. I wouldn't say it's more about the cool shit, but that's definitely a factor into it. You know, so. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
But even then, like we were talking about Ichimaru and how he's just kind of the evil bad guy. But with the interactions with Matsumoto at the very end, where he's like, "Yeah, I would have liked to be your prisoner a little longer. Sorry." So it's like, is there something more going on here? Another little.
Yeah. There's build up.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely curious to see where the series goes, because this is what everyone says is a high point, and I'm like, it's okay. So
the arc is...
this is the high point of Bleach apparently, but I'm wondering if like we have a different perspective. You know, we're going into it for the first time and all at once and discussing it as we go. So yeah, we'll see. I'm curious as to the rest.
Well, I definitely I could see some cool things coming out of this. But also, yeah, there's a lot of room to be concerned for as well, just because there are a lot of elements that were set up here. Now it's just like I said, with all the character introductions, like, if there's more to be expanded on here, then yeah, I can get behind doing it here. But if a lot of this kind of just falls off, then might change my opinion looking back on this.
Yeah, that's the thing. So anyway, Rukia and Byakuya make up a little bit. Oh yeah, and then, well, there's a weird thing. It's like Byakuya had a wife, and Rukia was adopted in a family because, well, they thought because she reminded him of the wife, but no, it's actually because they were sisters. But I don't know if they were like Soul Society sisters or like actual sisters in real life. I don't know. They're not very like, that's the thing. It's like all these characters were supposed to be dead, but I don't think we've ever heard about their like real lives before Soul Society, which makes me just wonder, like with Soifon, she was a kid when she was brought to Yoruichi, so that was like it makes sense. Like, kids die all the time, unfortunately, so it makes sense for there to be kids in Soul Society, these blank slates with which to grow relatively. You know, they wouldn't remember their previous life a whole lot. You know, they had parents and they died. How unfortunate. But it's fine. It's just like weird. Because again, it's like how much is the dead aspect of it actually playing into it? You know,
it almost feels like he's just writing for real life characters, but the Soul Society, as has been established, doesn't quite operate the same way. So
yeah, it kind of does. But well, because you know, again, it's like they still have life cycles and die. It's just like their life cycles are way longer and they have magic powers. So it's mostly like it's less of an afterlife than it is an alternate world with alternate rules that just happen to also function as an afterlife, I suppose. And that's where my not confusion, but just my like, again, I'm just like, wait, Rukia was a child in the Soul Society, but she had, you know, they should have all had prior lives, you know. So
yeah.
Maybe well, they don't, because I don't know, do they? No, I don't think they forget, because the parakeet kid, he remembered, you know, his time as a ghost. He remembered his time as a living person. He remembered his death, you know, I think. So yeah, I don't know, I guess it's just a little nitpick with the what's it called, which is, I don't know, because it's pretty common. Like, I saw Danny Phantom. It had kind of the same issue where the ghosts don't feel like dead people all the time. So, but it's whatever. It's whatever. But yeah, we're almost done. You know, everyone's sort of like, the Ryoka didn't do anything wrong. You know, it was all Aizen's fault. Rukia doesn't need to be executed. And I like the bit where you get Ishida fixing everyone's clothes up. And he's so into it. He's so into making clothes. Ishida's a dork.
Ishida might be best boy. I'm curious to see where the more serious side of his character goes, but I mean, I like that he's got that sort of. He's got both like comedic
the gap
and serious.
Between the serious and the yes. Oh yeah, no, you also get a moment where like Ichigo's hanging out with the 11th Company, and Kampachi's like, "Oh hey, Ichigo, you're better, right? You want to fight?" And Ichigo's like, "Nope, nope, 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 nope."
Although this did feel a little weird. We're coming off this big cliffhanger twist, and everything was so serious, so severe, and now everybody's just kind of like, we're back to the kind of goofy comedy antics of Bleach past, and I felt like I don't know, I felt a little bit of a whiplash, but like I can also, I guess, kind of.
Yeah, for me, it just felt like it was, it was relief of tension after, like, because it's like, everyone's like, yeah, it's over, like, especially, part of, if an aspect of Bleach is moving on from, guilt, it's like, okay, yeah, just chill out, like, we'll deal with it when it comes, just relax a bit.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
I was fine with it, is my point.
I guess that was a little better than, like, when Ichigo first showed up and there was like a goofy comedy bit with Renji, and like they're in the face of Aizen and Gin, but they're having like goofy antics. That was maybe a little weirder.
Maybe, yeah, that's fair. Because at least like there's no immediate threat. Aizen's gone. They're helpless to do anything. It's fine. Oh my god! Also, the little bit of Orihime thinking that Ishida was into Rukia. Or I think. Oh yeah, there's a bit of a scare. Oh my god, Rukia is gone. Where the fuck's Rukia? Holy shit! And she's fine. Because she went to go sort of wrap things up with Kukaku and Ganju, because she did kill, or kind of. It was one of those anime misunderstandings. She killed him and brought the Cayenne and brought the body there. But he was also like possessed by Hollow and attacking her, so it's like, what the fuck was she supposed to do? And she gets forgiven. Well, I love the like slapstick here, because she's like, it's fine. Don't worry about you forget you apologized. It's fine. And then Kukaku like hits her once, and then she tries to apologize again and gets fucking decked in the face. Like poor Rukia. She's so cute. I feel bad for her, but also I love Rukia. And then she's like, "Oh well, I'm not going with you." And I'm like, "No, go with them." Get another guy. Go back to the antics. I miss you, Rukia. I don't think it's gonna last. Like, okay, and that's the thing. It's like, the story's over. It's back to the status quo minus Rukia. I'm like, I would assume, because a lot of people say that Ichigo's the reactionary protagonist. So something's going to happen to him again that like enables the plot of the next arc.
I guess I suppose what happened with Aizen doesn't directly affect him because it's more of a Soul Society thing. But even then, like, going back to the status quo does feel a little weird because it's like, oh, everything's back to normal. But wait, no, there's this massive cliffhanger. Yeah, like, hello?
Yeah, the question is like, what, like, because even Soul Society doesn't, their hand, like, what can they do? Yeah. Like, how are they, where is Aizen? What is he trying to do? They won't know until he starts some shit. And my question is, and of course the question is like, how is Ichigo going to get involved? And, like the whole reason Ichigo was involved with this because Rukia happened to be, the one that, was involved, like, she had the I already forgot its name. The Gokyuko, or what, Goku. Oh, just fucking shoot me. The magic thingy, the rock thing. Yeah, that's and because Rukia was involved in that, and Urahara and Ichigo, they got involved. So, yeah, so the question is, like, how does he get involved in the next arc? Who knows? We'll find out.
And also, there was the,
they get...
never mind, I'm jumping ahead.
The what?
No, I'm jumping ahead. You keep going.
Rukia decides to stay, and they say goodbye. But it's like, they saved Rukia. She's alive. That's the important part. Yeah. She's alive to choose what she wants to do, and she decided to stay in Soul Society. I mean, she's a fucking Soul Reaper. It makes sense. And well, it's weird because I guess now I think about it, it's like the ending of this arc is also weird to me because I started watching Bleach like 10 years ago and I stopped. So it's like for more than 10 years, I've never known the end of this arc. So now it's like this arc is finally over to me, and I'm like, okay, so now I have like little to no clue of what happens next. So yeah, they go run back to the human world. They're back home. Urahara saves them, and he's like, oh yeah, sorry for starting this shit. And Ichigo doesn't care because it doesn't matter. Rukia is safe. And he also and he also got a badge. Like he's recognized as like an honorary Soul Reaper, so he's still able to be sort of his own free agent. But even the badge itself also is able to like do knock his soul out of his body, so he can actually do Soul Reaper stuff. I don't think they're gonna go back to hollow killing antics, but he gets Colin out of it. He gets back to his own body. He's home. He sees his dad, and I guess the arc's over. Yeah.
Although there was like a little interesting detail, because if you want to talk about, where do we go from here? There was the thing with Ishida where he's like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna help you next time because we're enemies. Remember what I said before?" And there's like,
"Oh, you're right."
But there's like,
he's like sort of he's like, well, he's playing it up like he's also kind of avoiding telling him that he can't fight, which I assume is still the case. Again, I don't expect it to last, but that's still what happened, So yeah, I didn't think about that. So okay, I guess Soul Society is over. The best arc in Bleach is over apparently, and we still have 500 plus chapters to go. Yay!
Yay!
I don't know. Well, see, I'm curious, is because I already knew about Soul Society, and I don't know what to expect from here on out. Really, I know Arrancar's a thing. I know Aizen does sneaky shit. I know the next arc is like, how long is the next arc? The next arc is divided into 3 parts, and it's going to be it's going to be over 200 chapters long.
What?
Yay! Oh boy. So yeah, apparently it's I don't know. The next arcs are Arrancar, which is also called Huako Mundo. Then there's Fullbring, and then there's the 1,000-Year Blood War. And I've heard different accounts that apparently they are all the worst arcs in the series. Like, that's at the bottom is like people choosing like which of these arcs is the worst. That's I don't know which is generally considered the worst. I guess we'll decide that because we are the Nen Show, we are the authorities. Our word is law, and if you don't agree with us, you are dumb. Okay, so yeah, final thoughts. So I guess now we can finally answer the question. Is Soul Society better than the Agent of the Shinigami arc?
Yeah.
Because it's like the humor of the Agent of the Shinigami arc was good, but the Soul Society had a lot neat world building and introduced a shitload of characters. It had some good action, but at the same time it was also really long. And the question is like, is it long enough to justify, or is it good enough to justify its length?
I don't know if it was necessarily good enough to justify how long it was. I feel like there were, like I said, there were certain fights that probably didn't need to be there. But on the whole, I think prefer this more to the first arc, because even then, like I think that those comedic elements are still there, and for the most part, they're still integrated pretty well. So,
I mean, like there are problems that, like again, like fights that maybe didn't need to happen, like, and then with the side characters, it's like Chad got his moments, but like they weren't doing anything in the climax, which is like.
No.
Why were they like? I mean, I guess of course they would be there. Like organically, it makes sense for them to be there. But did they do enough to really justify their appearance? Like, again, it's like they wouldn't want to abandon Rukia. They were able to make excuses to not be there during the summer. So, again, it makes sense why they're there. Just like, Ishida's got some unresolved stuff to deal with. Orihime, she had a little bit of the thing with Tatsuki before, but then it kind of just, like, she's just there. She's healing people. She wants to help,
there's no real,
and she did kind of help. But
I mean, like, maybe with Orihime, there could maybe be something, because, like, she doesn't have she can't really, like, she can't bring herself to kill anyone, so maybe that'll get explored. But other than that, like,
yeah, well, that's
she
the thing,
and
but it didn't
Chad
get
are
explored
mainly
this
just
one,
there
like,
because they want to help and protect Ichigo, and that's kind of their only motivation at this point.
Rukia, yeah.
And there's not a lot you can do with that.
Like, as an arc, like, there are parts of this arc that are, like, either going to be expanded on later, but weren't in this one arc. So, which is fine for, like, long-form storytelling, but, as its own arc, it definitely weakens it a bit. Like, maybe I'll forgive it retroactively when I see more of it to come. But I agree, I do think Soul Society is a bit better. It's, I'm not sure if it's quite good enough to justify how long it is, but I don't know, it was fine. Like, reading this list just chapters, I did it in just like a few hours. Like, I blazed through it pretty quickly. I was fine, and it wasn't bad. But, you know, it was good. Like you said, the humor's still there. It had more action and more, you know, Kampachi's pretty great. You know, and so I like some of the new characters, and I'm curious to see about if more of them. Aizen was pretty. Especially the last few chapters was fucking Aizen. That was probably my favorite. Might have been my favorite moment of the series so far. Just in how like just fucking shit happening one after the other, and fucking reveals, and just Aizen being fucking intense, and it's like it was good. I liked it. So yeah. I think I would say Soul Society is, you know, thus far the best arc in Bleach by a little bit. But like honestly, like you know when even though. You know, I haven't been enjoying it as much. Like, you know, I like at least like with Naruto, I could say like, you know, I all said and done, you know, I understand why people might still have a deep appreciation for it. You know, Bleach is cool, like, but it's you know that's just kind of it. It's not bad, but you know, like that's the thing. It's not, Bleach. Like some people have been asking me like, oh, do you feel as though Bleach is just literally the average shonen? I'm like, well, I don't know. If I think like the most average shonen. It would be like a 4 out of 10, like the most boring, just like, yep, this sure does exist. But Bleach does more than exist. It's like, you know, it's got cool shit happening. The character interactions are fun. You know, the setting makes, you know, there's like rules to it, and it's like, okay, good, it's this place, and things happen in it, cool. Like, it's not amazing, but it's fine. Bleach is fine. It's allowed to be fine. So yeah, I think I've said most of all I have to say. Are we good?
Yeah.
We're good. Yeah, this is definitely one of the shortest episodes of the Nen Show. I think it's a bit shorter than the first Naruto episode. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens from here. We're gonna do more Bleach. Yep, Hokomundo. So yeah, the chapters. It's we're reading up to chapter 241. That's another 60 chapters. So we will catch you next time. Thank you for listening. And I already said catch you next time. I'm just repeating myself.